how did you end up where you are today? I love hearing these backstories.
Okay, so I guess starting off the first one, why did I join? It's something I think my entire life I thought about. My father was in the army. My grandfather was in the army, so I have a lot of family tradition. I am the first one to choose the specific path of being in. When I enlisted, I chose to be an infantryman. No one else in my family ever chose to do that, so I chose to join the army my senior year of high school. So I joined, I think it was October or September of 2005, and I went to Fort Benning at the time, now Fort Moore, OSIT training in July of 2006. So I was an infantryman for about 14, 15 years before I ended up deciding to go commission and actually applying for green to gold active duty option.
That's really interesting. So 14 years. Did I hear that right? 14 years before you switched over?
Roughly, yes, about that time.
Wow. So what inspired you to switch over?
So I think it was I finished all my platoon sergeant time. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed being around the soldiers within a platoon level. And I realized when I was doing my broadening assignment, I was teaching as a military science instructor at the University of Colorado Boulder. I was in the Bravo company of them, so I was at the Colorado School of Mines in Golden, Colorado. When I was doing that, I really enjoyed experiencing the leadership drive and the want to know the knowledge from the cadets I was teaching. And I kind of looked at my next career path. So I was pretty early on finishing platoon sergeant time. So I think I finished 10, 11, 12 years, right around there. So I had like 8, possibly 10 years before I could possibly retire. And I just thought about what else am I going to do? Like, what else would I do as an infantryman? Probably first sergeant, of course, maybe like a ops sergeant major or something, but I would never get that platoon leadership route ever again. It was gone. I would never be at that level. And I really wanted to take all my knowledge and not restart the Army, but take that and then start a new path. And I just felt like I achieved everything I wanted to do as an infantryman at the time. And I wanted to try something different.
Makes a lot of sense. So what was your journey like switching over?
Okay, so it was kind of funny because I got to my ROTC unit as an instructor, and I immediately was like, "Sir, would you mind approving me to apply for green to gold?" So it was kind of interesting, but so I applied for green to gold active duty option. I got the go ahead. I got the approval from my company commander, I guess you'd say, at the time, and my battalion commander, which is the PMS at the time, and applied that way. So it's about a year process, as you know. It's not a short process. People don't think about how long the whole time takes from the initial portal opening, like June or July, to your phase 1 complete November, December, until the following year before you actually go to your actual ROTC assignment and as a cadet. So I was accepted to green to gold. I was currently in the Boulder/Denver area of Colorado, and I chose to go to Colorado State University in northern Colorado for my commissioning source. So that's what I went to, like a traditional ROTC, Colorado State University.
So what led you ultimately to the MI branch?
Okay, so I was undecided for going on like my whole first, like I guess MS3 year as a green to gold cadet. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew what I enjoyed. I knew what my past experience was. I'm telling you, up to, I would say, like the final decision, I was like changing my preferences. Like, maybe I'll try this one. Maybe I'll try this one. This one seems like what I'd really like. I had a really hard time picking. So I had a friend at the time. He was also a green to gold cadet in my university. And he's like, "Man, I think you'd be really good MI officer." I was like, "You think so?" He's like, "What?" And he kind of talked about it, and he had his experience with MI officers in the past. And I just like, "Yeah, you're probably right. That would be like a really interesting path to take." And I just thought it would be something instead of like this. What I was used to is using like my physical. You obviously you need your mental agility, but as an infantryman, it's a lot of physical. So I wanted to take a step back and really think about the problem set. I wanted to be able to use my mind to come up with these solutions, these courses of actions, and like I just thought that'd be a nice way going forward and a change of pace from the traditional what I was used to.
What was your experience like for those 2 years at your university of choice?
Yeah, it was really nice experience. So before that time, I joined the army at 17. So like all I've really known was active duty army. I never experienced going to university, so I wasn't one of those people that tried university first and went. I was all in from like 17. So it was a really nice experience seeing a different side of the world. So like going to university, sitting there, taking your time and really enjoying the process of like earning your degree. I really enjoyed working with my professors. I really enjoyed working with the cadre at our Colorado State. They really helped shape some of my decisions that I made. They were really outstanding. So I enjoyed it quite a bit. So green to gold was like, I would say it was one of the best decisions, but it's probably one of the top decisions I've made in my military career by far. It allowed me to earn a degree, which I never thought was possible growing up. I didn't think that'd be something I'd ever achieve, but that was something I was able to do. I got to support my family the whole time. I got to spend more quality time with my family during that time for the 2 years. And then my path to earning my bachelor's was outstanding. I really like it. Just everything about it was like a really nice experience.
On that note, so you've been on staff, you're also a platoon leader now, and then you've
Mm-hmm.
had time as a platoon sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk teamwork a little bit.
Okay.
How much does teamwork matter in your role, and what are some tips to fostering teamwork amongst your platoon, and what strategies have you found effective?
Yeah. So I mean, teamwork's everything. Everything that we do in the army, no one does it by themselves. So everything that you do is a team effort. People say that sometimes sarcastically, but like it's real. Like if you take too much on, if someone tries to hold all the stuff for themselves, like they get overwhelmed, they can't accomplish the task, the multiple tasks that you're assigned at a high level. So like they expect the best out of you, and what that means is you got to have people that help at all the levels. So as far as like some of the teamwork, the way I look at it the most, even going back to when I was a platoon sergeant, is putting the right person at the right problem set. So what that is, you play to people's strengths. So some people are really good, say for example, with like vehicles. Some people are really good with this computer set. Some people are really good with something, whatever it is, like a drone system. So you need to put them in the right place and make them successful, which will make the overall team successful and help accomplish the overall goal. So that's something that I would say learned the hard way. I tried to take on too much originally as a platoon sergeant. I always wanted to be there. Like, I know I can do it. Let me make sure that you're doing it. Um, the delegation part, and then the trust in your subordinates. So even if it's like you just gotta, sometimes you just gotta let it go. So just give them a shot. You'll be surprised a lot of times because they want to succeed as well. I think that's like a big part of military. No one wants to come to work and lose. So everyone wants to win. They want to do well. They want to perform well. They want to like everyone wants to work well as a team. So like that's the biggest thing. Teamwork is everything that we do. But knowing your audience, talking to people the right way, and putting them based on their strengths and their right positions, you'll be successful for sure.
Okay, so on this point, you've had time as a platoon sergeant, but
Mm-hmm.
you've also been a brand new lieutenant. That is unique.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, there's a lot of cadets right now, and even brand new lieutenants in Bolic that have a lot of anxiety about meeting the platoon sergeant for the first time.
Yep. Yeah. So it is a unique situation I'm in. It was interesting coming in because typically the new lieutenant is the one of the most inexperienced person, I guess, in the platoon comparable. Your platoon sergeants are most experienced. They're like the rock, the foundation, the continuity. Your platoon leader comes in, ROTC experience or OCS experience or whatever it may be, and they're put in that leadership spot. So coming in right away, you just gotta, not going back to know your audience, but like you got to understand like what kind of group you're going into. So what I'd recommend is you show up and you sit, you kind of get to observe. So if you come in just guns blazing, swinging, changing things, I'm going to change this. I want this to be different. It normally causes a big friction point between you and your platoon sergeant. So understanding how things are, obviously you can build upon things, but you need to take a step, kind of assess, see how everything's going, what kind of changes you think would just help the group. It doesn't always need to be because you think it'll just be better. Like you just go like, hey, I'm thinking about trying this. What do you think? Always be open to people's opinions and their perspective. They see it a certain way, you see it a certain way. So my platoon sergeant, when I first came in, it was interesting because I've been in the Army probably, I'd say like 6 years longer than him. So that's not your typical lieutenant to platoon sergeant relationship. But he was really, really professional. He was very knowledgeable. What he did have on me was all that reconnaissance experience. I never was in that before. I had my infantry experience. I had my intelligence experience. I didn't have that very specific scout or reconnaissance base. So he helped explain the very like specifics of that job and then how the platoon worked, how it currently is working, and then based on that, we came up with a plan together to continuously improve and try to make the platoon the best we possibly could.